You wake up. You eat. You work. You scroll. You sleep. You repeat. But let me ask you something that will haunt you for the rest of this video. Are you actually living, or are you just one more body moving through the motions, a ghost in your own life? Right now, in this exact moment, millions of people are doing exactly what you're doing, watching, consuming, existing in a trance they don't even know they're in. You think you're making choices, but what if I told you that 99% of what you call your life isn't yours at all? What if you're living someone else's script, wearing someone else's mask, chasing someone else's dreams? This isn't philosophy. This is the brutal truth about your existence, and by the end of this video, you'll either wake up or you'll prove you're already too far gone. Look around you. Everyone is doing the same thing. Same jobs. Same complaints. Same weekend plans. Same conversations. Same fears. Have you noticed? They all dress alike, think alike, even their problems are copy-pasted from each other. This is what I call the anonymous existence, the life of the they. Who are they? They are everyone and no one. They are the voice in your head that says this is how things are done but can't explain why. They are the reason you feel wrong when you want something different. They are the invisible prison guard of your soul. Here's what nobody tells you: you were born into a factory. Not a factory that makes products, but a factory that makes replicas of human beings. From the moment you could understand words, they started programming you. Your parents, your teachers, your society, they all handed you a script and said this is who you should be. And you believed them. You had to. You were just a child. But now you're not a child anymore, and yet you're still reading from that same script, still playing a role in a play you never auditioned for. Comment below right now, what's one thing you do every day that you've never questioned why you do it? I'll wait. Because this is the first step to waking up, noticing the patterns you never chose but follow religiously. Most people live their entire lives and never ask themselves the most important question: am I actually me, or am I just a collection of other people's expectations? Think about your goals. Are they really yours? Or did society hand them to you wrapped in shiny paper called success? That house you want, that car, that job title, that relationship status. Dig deeper. Who actually wants these things? You, or are they inside your head? The terrifying truth is this: most people die without ever meeting themselves. They spend 80 years on this planet and never once stop to ask, who am I when nobody's watching? They mistake comfort for happiness, routine for purpose, and survival for living. They become what I call mass existence, a drop in an ocean of sameness, indistinguishable, replaceable, forgettable. You know what's fascinating? You can spot these people everywhere. They're the ones who always have the same answers to everything. Ask them what they think and they'll tell you what everyone thinks. Ask them what they want and they'll tell you what everyone wants. Ask them who they are and they'll give you their resume, their job title, their relationship status, everything except the truth. Because the truth is they don't know. They've never asked. They're too busy being who they're supposed to be to discover who they actually are. And here's the really dark part: they defend their prison. They attack anyone who questions the system because questioning the system means questioning their entire existence. If you're right that there's another way to live, then they've wasted their whole life. And that thought is so painful that they'd rather attack you than face it. This is why authentic people are often lonely. Not because they're unlikable, but because they're threatening. Their existence is proof that the comfortable lies everyone else is living by are actually lies. But here's where it gets interesting. You can't escape this by just running away. You can't quit your job, move to another country, and suddenly become authentic. Because the they isn't outside you, it's inside you. It's in every thought you think, every decision you make, every feeling you feel. It's the voice that says, what will people think, when you want to do something true. It's the fear that keeps you small, the doubt that keeps you safe, the numbness that keeps you from feeling the weight of your own existence. Think about your last big decision. Maybe it was taking a job, ending a relationship, moving cities, choosing a career path. How much of that decision was based on what you actually wanted versus what would look good, What would be safe? What would make others proud? What would avoid judgment? If you're honest, probably most of it. Because we've been trained to calculate other people's reactions before we even know our own desires. Let me tell you something that will change everything. You are not your thoughts. You are not your feelings. You are not even your experiences. You are the awareness behind all of this. You are the one who notices. And right now, in this moment, you have a choice that most people never make. You can choose to see the chains, or you can go back to pretending they don't exist. What's the most radical thing you believe that you've never said out loud? Comment it. Not because I care, but because you need to hear yourself say it. You need to practice being you, even if it's just in a YouTube comment section. You need to start somewhere, and a comment is safer than real life, so start there. Now, here's the part that most motivational speakers won't tell you because it doesn't sell well. Becoming authentic is terrifying. It's not inspiring Instagram quotes and feel-good moments. It's standing in front of the mirror of your own soul and seeing all the lies you've told yourself. It's realizing that the person you thought you were is just a costume you've been wearing for so long you forgot it wasn't your skin. The process of becoming authentic feels like dying. Because in a way, you are dying. The false self has to die for the true self to emerge. And that false self will fight for its survival with everything it has. It will tell you you're being selfish. It will tell you you're going crazy. It will tell you you're ruining your life. It will use fear, guilt, shame, whatever works to keep you in line. Because that false self knows that if you wake up, it dies. And it doesn't want to die. There are moments in life, moments I call limit situations, where the mask falls off whether you want it to or not. Death. Suffering. Guilt. Failure. These aren't enemies. These are the only honest teachers you'll ever have. They rip away the comfortable lies and force you to confront the one question you've been running from. What am I going to do with the fact that I'm going to die? Most people treat death like it's a problem they'll solve later. They postpone living because they think they have time. They play it safe because they think safety is real. They compromise because they think there's always tomorrow. And then one day, there isn't. One day, they're lying in a hospital bed or sitting in a chair too old to change anything, and they realize they spent their entire life preparing to live instead of actually living. I want you to imagine something right now. Imagine you're 85 years old, sitting in a chair, looking back at your life. What are you going to regret? And I'm not talking about the things you did that failed. I'm talking about the things you never tried. The words you never said. The chances you never took. The person you never became because you were too afraid of what other people would think. Here's the truth about regret: you never regret the mistakes you made. You regret the chances you didn't take. You regret the times you chose comfort over truth. You regret the moments when you knew what you needed to do but did the safe thing instead. Those are the things that eat at you in the end, not the failures, but the unlived life. But death isn't just the end of your life. Death is happening right now. Every moment you choose comfort over truth, you die a little. Every time you silence your real voice to fit in, you die a little. Every dream you abandon for security, every passion you trade for approval, every truth you swallow to keep peace, that's death. Not the death of your body, but the death of your possibility, the death of who you could have been. Are you starting to feel it? That uncomfortable feeling in your chest? Good. That's not anxiety. That's your authentic self trying to break through the layers of bullshit you've buried it under. That's the sound of your real life knocking on the door of your comfortable existence. Don't ignore it. Don't numb it. Don't distract yourself from it. Feel it. Let it hurt. Because that pain is information. It's telling you that you're off track, that you're living someone else's life, that time is running out. Here's what I need you to understand: you can't think your way into authenticity. You can't read enough books or watch enough videos or get enough therapy sessions to become yourself. Authenticity isn't a destination, it's a practice. It's choosing the harder truth over the easier lie, every single day, in every single moment, even when nobody's watching, especially when nobody's watching. Comment this: I choose truth over comfort. Say it. Make it real by putting it into words. Because words have power, and the moment you declare something publicly, even to strangers on the internet, you've made a commitment your ego can't easily escape. Let me give you a mirror. Think about the last conversation you had. How much of it was real? How much of it was you saying what the other person wanted to hear, or what would make you look good, or what would avoid conflict? How much of it was you actually sharing yourself, your real thoughts, your real fears, your real hopes? If you're honest, probably very little. Because real communication is rare. Most of what we call communication is just two masks talking to each other, two scripts intersecting, two performances happening in the same room. Real communication, what I call existential communication, happens when two people drop their masks and meet as they actually are. No agenda. No performance. No trying to prove anything or protect anything. Just two souls acknowledging each other in the dark. And it's terrifying because it means being seen, really seen, not as who you pretend to be, but as who you actually are, with all your flaws and fears and contradictions and wounds. Think about the people in your life right now. Your partner, your friends, your family, your colleagues. How many of them actually know you? Not the version of you that you show them, but the real you. The you that exists at 3 a.m. when you can't sleep. The you that has doubts and fears and desires you've never spoken out loud. The you that questions everything but pretends to have it all figured out. How many people know that person? One? None? Most people go through their entire lives surrounded by people and completely alone. They have 1,000 connections and 0 contact. They're drowning in social media followers and starving for one real conversation. They have sex but no intimacy. They have relationships but no connection. They have friends but no friendship. Because all of it is based on masks recognizing other masks, performances applauding other performances, lies confirming other lies. When was the last time you had a real conversation? When was the last time someone saw you, not the version of you that you present to the world, but the messy, confused, terrified, hopeful person you were when you're alone at 3 a.m.? And more importantly, when was the last time you let someone see you like that? The tragedy is this: most people are so armored, so defended, so committed to their mask, that they can't even recognize authenticity when they see it. You could stand in front of them completely naked emotionally and they'd still be looking for the angle, the manipulation, the hidden agenda. Because they can't imagine that someone would actually be real, they've spent so long in the fake world that the real world looks like a trick. But here's the beautiful part, the part that makes all of this worth it. When you choose authenticity, when you choose to be real even when it's terrifying, you give others permission to do the same. You become a crack in the wall of mass existence. You become proof that another way is possible. Not better. Not easier. Just possible. And possibility is the only thing that can save us from the living death of routine existence. What's one mask you wear that you're ready to take off? Comment it. Name it. Because the moment you name something, it loses power over you. The moment you say, I pretend to be confident but I'm scared, or I pretend to be happy but I'm empty, or I pretend to have it all together but I'm falling apart, that's the moment the mask starts to crack. And cracks let light in. Now I need to tell you something that might break you: you are free. Completely free. Right now. In this moment. You are free to choose who you are and what you do and how you live. And this freedom is not a gift, it's a burden. It's the heaviest thing you'll ever carry because it means you can't blame anyone else for your life. Not your parents. Not your boss. Not society. Not your past. Not your trauma. Not your circumstances. You are free, and that means you are responsible. Most people hear you are free and they think it's good news. But it's not. It's terrifying news. Because it means the life you're living right now, the one you're unhappy with, the one you complain about, the one you wish was different, that's on you. You chose it. Maybe not consciously. Maybe not intentionally. But you chose it by choosing not to choose something else. And that truth is so unbearable that most people would rather believe they're victims than admit they're free. Think about all the excuses you use. I can't leave this job because I have bills. I can't end this relationship because I'll be alone. I can't pursue my dreams because I'm too old. I can't change because this is just who I am. Every single one of these is a lie you tell yourself to avoid the weight of your freedom. Because if you admitted you were free, you'd have to admit that you're choosing your misery, and that's harder to face than blaming everything else. Freedom means you could walk out the door right now and never come back. You could change everything. You could become someone completely different. You could start over. You could take the risk. You could say the truth. You could leave. You could stay. You could fight. You could surrender. You could create. You could destroy. You are free. And that freedom is crushing because it means every moment you stay in your comfortable misery is a choice. But here's the secret they don't want you to know: the moment you accept your freedom, the moment you stop making excuses and take full responsibility for your existence, that's the moment you become powerful. Not powerful like having money or status or control over others. Powerful like being able to look at yourself in the mirror without flinching. Powerful like knowing that whatever happens, you chose it with full awareness. Real power isn't about controlling your external circumstances. Real power is about taking full ownership of your internal reality. It's saying, this is my life, these are my choices, I am responsible for all of it. Even the parts that happen to you, even the trauma, even the unfairness, you're responsible for what you do with it. You're responsible for whether you let it define you or whether you use it to transform. Do you feel angry right now? Do you feel defensive? Do you feel like I'm attacking you? Good. That's your ego protecting the comfortable lies you've been telling yourself. That's the voice of the they inside you trying to shut down this conversation before you wake up too much. Don't listen to it. Stay with me. We're going deeper. Here's a question that will reveal everything. If you knew you were going to die exactly 1 year from today, how would you live differently? Don't skip over this. Really think about it. What would you change? What would you stop doing? What would you start doing? Who would you forgive? Who would you confront? What would you create? What truth would you finally speak? Now here's the devastating follow-up. Why aren't you living like that right now? What are you waiting for? Permission? The perfect moment? More money? Less fear? None of that is coming. The perfect moment is now. The permission you need is yours to give. The fear will never go away. You either choose to live in truth or you choose to die in comfort. There is no third option. Comment right now, one thing you would do if you knew you had 1 year left. Make it specific. Make it real. Because the moment you articulate it, you can't unhear it. It will haunt you. And that haunting is the beginning of your awakening. Let me tell you about suffering. Not the suffering that happens to you, but the suffering you create by refusing to face yourself. There's physical pain, which is real and unavoidable. And then there's existential suffering, which is the pain of living a lie. The pain of pretending. The pain of wearing a mask so long it starts to suffocate you. The pain of knowing deep down that you're wasting your life but being too afraid to do anything about it. This suffering is different from regular pain because you can't fix it with medicine or therapy or distractions. You can only fix it by facing the truth. And the truth is that you've been lying to yourself about who you are and what you want and what matters. You've been trading your soul for security, your passion for approval, your truth for comfort. And now you're paying the price. The crazy thing is that we choose this suffering. We choose it because it's familiar. We choose it because it's predictable. We choose it because the alternative, being authentic, is even more terrifying. We'd rather live in a comfortable prison than face the unknown freedom. We'd rather know we're unhappy than risk being disappointed trying to be happy. This is how backwards we are. But suffering has a purpose. Suffering is the teacher that shows you where you're betraying yourself. Every moment of anxiety, depression, emptiness, rage, these aren't problems to be fixed, they're messages to be read. They're your soul screaming at you that you're off track. They're the alarm system of your existence telling you that you need to wake up. Most people spend their whole lives trying to turn off the alarm instead of addressing the fire. They medicate, they distract, they numb, they rationalize, anything to make the pain stop. But the pain is the only thing keeping them honest. The pain is the only thing that might wake them up before it's too late. What pain are you avoiding right now? What uncomfortable truth are you running from? Comment it. Because the moment you stop running from your pain and start listening to it, everything changes. Pain stops being your enemy and becomes your guide. Here's another truth about freedom that nobody talks about: freedom is lonely. When you choose to be authentic, you step outside the safety of the herd. The herd doesn't like that. The herd punishes those who break ranks. They'll call you selfish. They'll say you've changed. They'll try to pull you back. Not because they care about you, but because your freedom threatens their comfort. Your awakening reminds them that they're still asleep. You'll lose people when you choose authenticity. Friends who only like the mask. Family members who wanted you to stay small. Partners who preferred your performance to your truth. And it will hurt. It will feel like you're doing something wrong. But you're not. You're doing something right for the first time in your life. You're choosing yourself over their approval. You're choosing truth over comfort. You're choosing life over living death. The people who are meant to be in your life will stay. Not because they need you to be something, but because they see you and accept you as you are. These relationships are rare. They're uncomfortable. They require constant honesty and vulnerability. But they're the only relationships worth having. Everything else is just company to avoid loneliness, not connection to create wholeness. Think about your relationships right now. How many of them would survive if you stopped performing? If you stopped being what they needed you to be and just were yourself? If you spoke your truth instead of saying what keeps the peace? That number is probably smaller than you want to admit. And that's okay. Better to be alone in truth than surrounded by people and lies. I want you to understand something about time. You think you have time. You think you can wait until you're ready, until the conditions are right, until you feel brave enough. But time is the one thing you don't have. Every day that passes is a day you'll never get back. Every moment you spend pretending is a moment of your real life stolen. Every night you go to sleep having not said what you needed to say or done what you needed to do is a night you'll regret when you're out of nights. Time doesn't care about your plans. Time doesn't wait for you to be ready. Time just passes, indifferent to whether you're living or just existing. And one day, sooner than you think, time will run out. And on that day, all your excuses will be revealed as what they always were, lies you told yourself to avoid the risk of really living. So let me ask you again, what are you waiting for? What needs to happen before you'll finally choose yourself? What sign are you looking for? What permission do you need? What guarantee do you need that it will work out? None of it is coming. The universe doesn't send engraved invitations to start living. Life is happening now. The question is whether you're going to show up for it or keep watching from the sidelines. Comment this if you're ready. I'm done waiting. Because saying it out loud makes it real. And making it real makes it harder to ignore. Let me tell you about guilt. Real guilt, not the fake guilt they program into you. Fake guilt is what you feel when you disappoint others by being yourself. Real guilt is what you feel when you disappoint yourself by being someone else. Fake guilt is imposed from outside. Real guilt comes from inside, from betraying your own truth, from wasting your own life, from dying without ever having lived. Most people carry tons of fake guilt and ignore all their real guilt. They feel guilty for saying no, for taking time for themselves, for pursuing their dreams, for letting people down. But they don't feel guilty for lying to themselves every day. They don't feel guilty for wasting their potential. They don't feel guilty for living someone else's life. And that's the guilt that matters. That's the guilt that should wake you up. You should feel guilty if you're not living authentically. You should feel guilty if you're trading your truth for approval. You should feel guilty if you're letting fear make your decisions. You should feel guilty if you're dying slowly instead of living fully. That guilt is your conscience trying to get your attention. Listen to it. What are you guilty of? Not in the fake way, where you feel bad for being human. In the real way, where you know you're betraying yourself. Comment it. Face it. Because you can't change what you won't acknowledge. Here's what I know about you. I know that somewhere inside you, underneath all the programming and fear and masks, there's a person who knows exactly what they need to do. There's a voice that's been trying to get your attention your whole life. A voice that whispers what you really want, what you really care about, what you really need to say and do and be. You've been ignoring that voice. You've been drowning it out with noise and distractions and other people's opinions. But it's still there. It never left. It's waiting for you to finally listen. That voice is your authentic self. Your true nature. Your possibility. And it's been patient with you. It's been waiting through all the years of conformity and compromise and cowardice. But it's getting tired of waiting. Because time is running out. And if you don't listen soon, if you don't choose yourself soon, that voice will get quieter and quieter until one day you won't be able to hear it anymore. And that's the real death. Not when your body dies, but when your possibility dies. Can you hear it right now? In this moment, can you hear that voice? What is it telling you? What does it want you to know? What truth is it trying to show you? Stop reading for a second and just listen. What is your authentic self trying to tell you? Comment what you heard. Even if it scares you. Especially if it scares you. Because that fear is proof that it's real. The things that scare you most are usually the things you need most. The path to authenticity isn't a straight line. It's messy. You'll take steps forward and steps back. You'll have moments of clarity followed by months of confusion. You'll be brave one day and terrified the next. You'll choose truth and then run back to comfort. This is normal. This is the process. Don't expect perfection. Don't expect to wake up one day fully authentic and stay that way forever. It doesn't work like that. Authenticity is a practice, not a destination. It's something you choose over and over again, in small moments and big moments, when it's easy and when it's hard. It's choosing to tell the truth when a lie would be easier. It's choosing to face your fear instead of running from it. It's choosing to be yourself even when yourself isn't impressive or polished or Instagram worthy. It's choosing reality over fantasy, substance over image, depth over surface. And some days you'll fail. Some days you'll wear the mask. Some days you'll say what people want to hear. Some days you'll choose comfort over truth. And that's okay. You're human. You're learning. The point isn't to be perfect. The point is to keep choosing, to keep trying, to keep moving towards truth even when you fail. Because every time you choose authenticity, even if you fail, you're building a muscle. You're training yourself. You're becoming someone who can handle more truth, more freedom, more life. What's one small way you can practice authenticity tomorrow? Just one thing. Comment it. Make it concrete. Make it doable. Because transformation doesn't happen in giant leaps. It happens in small, consistent choices. Let me tell you the hardest truth of all, most people will never wake up. They'll read this, they'll feel something, they'll comment, and then they'll go right back to sleep. They'll watch this video, have a moment of clarity, and then return to their comfortable misery. They'll see the truth but choose the lie because the lie is familiar. And that's their choice. That's their freedom. You can't wake someone up who wants to stay asleep. But some of you, a few of you, will actually hear this. Not just with your ears but with your soul. You'll feel something shift inside you. You'll recognize the truth when you hear it. And you'll make a choice right now, in this moment, to start living differently. Not tomorrow. Not when you're ready. Right now. If you're one of those people, I need you to do something. I need you to make a commitment. Not to me. To yourself. I need you to promise yourself that you're done living a lie. That you're done wearing masks. That you're done wasting time. That you're done betraying yourself. That you're done choosing comfort over truth. Say it out loud right now, I'm done. Say it like you mean it. Say it like your life depends on it. Because it does. The moment you make that commitment, everything changes. Not your circumstances. Not your external reality. But your internal reality. You become someone who has drawn a line in the sand. Someone who has said no more. Someone who has chosen themselves. And once you've done that, you can never fully go back. You can forget for a while. You can slip back into old patterns. But you'll never be as asleep as you were before. Because you've tasted what it means to be awake. Are you ready? Are you actually ready to stop being a zombie and start being alive? Comment I'm ready if you are. But only if you mean it. Because once you say it, once you commit, you're accountable. Not to me. To yourself. And that's the most important accountability there is. Your life is happening right now. Not tomorrow. Not next year. Right now. And every second you spend living someone else's version of your life is a second you'll never get back. You are free. You are responsible. You are running out of time. What are you going to do about it?